Hello and welcome to this Design Cuts video tutorial. Today we're looking at installing developed presets in Lightroom. As usual, I'll be using some Design Cuts assets. The presets are coming from the Ultimate Lightroom Preset Collection by Tom Anders, and the photographs I'm using are 50 high-res autumn photos by Moonloop. Before you can install presets in Lightroom, you'll need to download them, and typically they'll arrive as zip files. When they do arrive, you'll need to locate your zip file. If you're on a Mac, just double click it and typically that will extract all the contents from that zip archive. On a PC, double click the file and then select it and choose Extract All Files. Once the files are extracted, you'll be able to navigate through the folder structure and see what is in the set that you have purchased. In this case, we have a folder of Lightroom presets, and there's a set of toolkit presets, and there's another set which is the Ultimate Lightroom Collection. When you look at these, particularly if you're looking at them on a PC, you'll see that some of the presets have a dot and underscore in front of their name, and then others down the bottom of this folder here don't have that. Well, the set that's at the very bottom that doesn't have that dot and underscore are the actual templates. The others are a Mac file, so you can just ignore those. You need the ones down the very bottom to install those. Now, before you can install them, it also helps to understand a little bit about Lightroom, because Adobe recently has made some significant changes to Lightroom and some significant changes to develop presets. Historically, we were using Lightroom versions like Lightroom 5 and Lightroom 6, and they're what are now Lightroom Classic. So if you're using Lightroom 5, 6, Lightroom CC 2015, or Lightroom Classic CC, then you have one program. That's one style of Lightroom, and it's readily identifiable by the modules in it. So you'll have a library module, a develop module, map, book, slideshow, print, web, etc. So they're what are now Lightroom Classic CC, and they all work in a similar sort of way. The other application that was split off from Lightroom in 2017 is what's called Lightroom CC. So it's sort of not only split off from the original Lightroom, but also grabbed its name. And it's a very different program. It doesn't have modules. All your photographs are stored in the cloud. And so you need to be really clear as to which Lightroom application you have, because installing developed presets is very different on both. Now, if that isn't confusing enough, then Adobe also made some changes to develop presets recently. Up until 2017, developed presets were LR template files, very identifiable by their file extension. In 2017, with the newer versions of Lightroom, the presets became XMP files. Now, there are some really good reasons for that, including some compatibility with Adobe Camera Raw, which shares a develop engine with Lightroom. But the impact for us is that increasingly over time you're going to see a move away from LR template files to XMP files. But luckily LR template files are compatible with all versions of Lightroom. What happens is that if you install an LR template file in a version of Lightroom that really prefers to be using XMP files, Lightroom will do the conversion for you. Not only does it convert the files to XMP, but it also places them where it expects them to be. So LR template files are in a way a little bit more flexible than XMP, because you can install LR template files in any version of Lightroom. So with that information in hand, let's go and see how we can quickly and easily install templates in Lightroom. And we're going to start with Lightroom Classic CC, and this of course is working similarly to Lightroom 5, 6 and CC 2015. I'm on a PC, so I'll choose Edit and then Preferences. On a Mac you would choose Lightroom and then Preferences. In the Preferences panel you'll click the Presets tab, and then depending on which version of Lightroom you are using, you may have one or two buttons here. In the most recent versions, you're going to have these two buttons, and the one you're going to click is Show All Other Lightroom Presets. So click on that, and it'll open up in a hidden area in Windows in your Lightroom folder. So you'll double click that folder and then double click Develop Presets. This is the location where Lightroom expects to find the LR template files. In older versions of Lightroom, this is going to be exactly where it needs them to be. In newer versions of Lightroom, it's going to find them here and do the conversion to XMP for you. So the first thing that we're going to do here is to right click and add a new folder for the presets we're about to add. And I'm going to call this Tom Anders Collection. And then I'll open up the folder that I expanded those files into. So I'll locate the first of these template files that doesn't have the dot and the underscore in front of its name. Click it. I'll roll down to the very end, hold the Shift key and click the last one. So all of these are selected. I'm going to copy them rather than move them because that means I could also use these LR template files in, for example, Lightroom CC. So I don't want to move them, I'm just going to make a copy. So I'll start dragging. I'll hover over the Tom Anders Collection folder that I created and I'll hold down the Control key so that I'm copying rather than moving. On the PC it's the Control key, on a Mac it's the Option key. And now if we have a look inside the Tom Anders Collection folder, all the LR template files are sitting here. So I can go ahead and close down all of those folders. I can also close down this panel. And what I do next is to close and reopen Lightroom. As you open Lightroom, you'll see that it's a little bit slower than usual, and the reason for this is that it will have located those LR template files, and if you're working with the most recent version of Lightroom, it knows it has to convert them, and so it will go ahead and convert those in the process, and then you'll get a message that all custom developed presets were successfully converted to XMP. Of course, this is not going to happen in the older versions of Lightroom, Lightroom 5, Lightroom 6, CC 2015, because in those versions, the LR template files were exactly what you wanted. It's only in those most recent versions that we need the XMPs, but Lightroom's taking care of the conversion for you. So I'll just click OK at this dialog. And over here in the presets panel, you can see that we have our Tom Anders collection of presets. And if I roll over these presets, you'll see that they're being applied to the image. So we can see the changes to the image. Now, in earlier versions of Lightroom, that would just be on the navigator preview here, and it won't be on the image itself. So you can roll down and find a preset that you like, and if you want to apply it to the image, you'll just click the preset and it will be applied to the image. At any time, you can check and see what has been applied to the image. Going to the history panel, you'll see here that this is the image as it was imported into Lightroom, and this is it with the preset Finland Mood applied to it. It's time now to install some presets into Lightroom CC. This is the cloud-based version of Lightroom. It looks very different to the more traditional version of Lightroom, and installing presets is different here. So with an image open on the screen, I'm going to the Edit button here in the top corner of the screen, and then down here to the bottom right corner to open up the Presets panel. These are the presets that are shipped with Lightroom CC. We'll click up here on this button, which has 3 dots on it, and then select from the menu Import Presets. Now it's really important that you take care when you install presets into Lightroom CC because it's pretty unforgiving in terms of arranging those presets. So if you mess it up, it's a little bit difficult to unscramble the mess. So this is the folder of the presets that I'm going to install, and you'll see here, because I'm using a Mac, those files that had the dot and the underscore in front of their name just aren't visible, and that's the way it should be. So these are the actual presets I'm going to install, but I'm not going to select them from this particular window. I'm going up one step in the folder hierarchy. I'm doing that so that I can select the folder that contains the template files that I want to install. And the reason for doing this is that then the presets will be installed into a collection called Tom Anders Ultimate Collection, instead of being dumped unceremoniously into the user presets. It's just a neater way of organizing things. So selecting the folder, I'll click here on Import. Lightroom goes ahead and installs all those presets, and here is the Tom Anders Ultimate Lightroom collection of presets. You can see that they're nice and neatly arranged. To preview the presets, you'll just hold your mouse pointer over each of the presets in turn, and you'll see the preset as it would look if it were applied to the image. When you see a preset that you like, you can click on it to apply it to the image. To close down the presets panel, you'll just click on the X icon here, and to go back to viewing your images, you'll close the edit area. I hope you've enjoyed learning these techniques for installing developed presets in Lightroom. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, I'm Helen Bradley for Design Cuts.